Alabama is into the college football playoffs. Shocking to me, to be completely honest with you. I did not have any faith in this committee to put Alabama in over FSU, but at the end of the day, that is the right thing to do. Alabama is a better team than Florida State. And you know what? It's sad for them because they did exactly what they were supposed to do. They went undefeated. They won the ACC Championship. But, their strength of schedule just isn't there. They're on QB2 now. Now, if Jordan Travis was still the quarterback for FSU, I think they'd be in no matter what. I think that injury to Jordan Travis was one of the biggest deciding factors. They're just not the same team without him. Alabama makes it inside the top 4. This is how it goes. Michigan at 1, Washington at 2, Texas at 3, Alabama at 4, and the first 2 out, Florida State at 5, Georgia at 6. When I was watching it myself, they did the top 1, 2, 3, and then they went 6, 5, or technically 6, 4, 5. But in all reality, Georgia is probably also better than Florida State. They probably should have been at 5. That doesn't really matter at all to us because at the end of the day, Alabama gets in. So right now in the comments section, guys, grade the final college football playoff rankings. A, B, C, D, or F. I mean, we're in, so I'm going to give it an A. I really don't care at the end of the day. You can maybe argue Washington number 1 over Michigan, but I mean, who do you think wins in a head-to-head? I think probably Michigan wins that game head-to-head. So grade right now in the comments section the final college football playoff rankings, A, B, C, D, or F. Man, I've been saying for weeks, guys, that I have had zero faith in this committee. I did not think that we would get in. Did I think we should have got in? Absolutely. I'm not saying I didn't think we should be in. I didn't think we were going to get in because nothing that this committee has done. They had Oregon ranked over Alabama all year, and Texas for that matter. I had no doubt that Texas was going to get in, them sitting there at 3. But us, we were the bubble team, us and Florida State. And it's sad if you're a Florida State fan, but you know what? It is what it is, man. This is a cutthroat business. It's the best 4 teams, not the most deserving teams, in my opinion. And I've listened to some people on ESPN this morning, and it's just making my blood boil that anybody would think that Florida State should be in over Alabama when at the beginning of all of this, we established we want the 4 best teams unequivocally in the country to be in the college football playoffs. And, at the end of the day, 4 best teams, I think Washington's fake. I think the Pac-12 has been fake all year. I think Texas, because that's going to be that matchup, Washington versus Texas. I think Texas goes in there and beats Washington. If you want the 4 best teams, in no particular order, it should be Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Texas. That's the 4 best teams in the country. But the way Washington's performed this year, you couldn't really afford to leave them out. They were a lock all the way, them and Michigan. So, that's what we have. Michigan, Washington, Texas, Alabama in the Final 4 of this year's college football playoffs. In the comment section, guys, let me know. Scale it 1 to 10. How happy are you that Alabama made it in the college football playoffs? I got to see a lot of 10s in the comment section, man, especially with these 4 teams. I think the national championship could be a rematch against Alabama and Texas. All right, guys, I want to tell you about our sponsor today, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They're the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's super easy. It's just you against the numbers. No more battling thousands of other pros or sharks or other players. It's super simple. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you watch the winnings roll in. With basketball season starting now, you can now do combo projections across different sports. These are the specials leagues. This is a league created specifically for combo projections that include 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. For example, you can pick LeBron James plus Travis Kelce at 10.5 combo, 3 points made in receptions. So those guys, Travis Kelce and LeBron, just have to equal 10, more or less 10.5, 3 points made and receptions in a game. PrizePicks even offers a reboot policy. This is one of my favorite things. So if one of your entries gets knocked out in the first half, they just get rebooted. It's an amazing thing. You don't lose out on a bet because a player goes down. We saw what happened to Joe Burrow a couple weeks ago. Goes down in the first half of that Ravens game, and you're thinking your picks are you're just out of luck there. Nah, that's not how it works with the reboot policy and PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with injury insurance. That is one of the coolest things, in my opinion, about PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for your first deposit match up to $100. One more time for you guys. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for your first deposit match up to $100. We'll get into it right now. This Michigan preview. We'll be playing Michigan in the first round of the college football playoffs. I'm not sure which site that would be. I would assume with Washington being in, it would be them in Texas in the Rose Bowl, and Alabama and Michigan in the Sugar Bowl, which we fared pretty well down there in New Orleans. We saw last year beat the crap out of Kansas State. Kansas State was the Big 12 champs last year, so I'm super excited for this matchup against number 1 Michigan. Alabama has the potential to beat 2 number 1 teams back to back. That is unheard of. It may have happened in the past. I'm sure it's probably happened, but that would be massive for all these people that are saying Alabama ain't it. I mean, Booger was on ESPN earlier talking about the Iron Bowl again, and it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, I don't care. We beat the number 1 team in the country. We were 4-1 this year against top 25 teams. I mean, at the end of the day, straight the schedule is what got Alabama into the college football playoffs. Why? This is my big beef. Why would you schedule hard opponents, especially at Texas, week 2 in the season, if it means nothing? Straight the schedule has to mean something in these things. And next year we'll be having some of the same arguments about who those at-large teams are going to be. But for the most part, like a game like yesterday, it's going to be all seeding talk. Alabama definitely would have got in next year. Georgia would be in next year. Shoot, Ohio State's probably in next year. Because at the end of the day, strength of schedule should mean something. And when you look at strength of schedule, this is straight from ESPN. Florida State 55, Alabama 5. You can't look past that. If you run a hypothetical in your brain real quick and you think Florida State versus Alabama, neutral site, who wins? I think Alabama wins by 21. I don't think it's close at all, especially with Jordan Travis being out. Their defense is great. Their defense is amazing. They stepped up in the ACC Championship game when they needed to. Their defense has been really good all year. Now, they have a win against LSU and against Florida. They're 2-0 against the SEC, and that's their big argument. But everybody knows LSU didn't have a defense all year. I mean, you saw what Alabama did to them in the second half of that game. In Florida, pretty mid. I mean, Florida's not like a great example. You're taking a bottom-tier SEC team. I mean, the coach is on the hot seat. So that's like saying you beat Arkansas or you beat Kentucky. Like, and Kentucky was a better SEC team than Florida, frankly, this year. So this Michigan matchup, it's going to be really fun. I'm super excited for it. J.J. McCarthy kind of been up and down all year. He's been a steady game manager. That's what you can call J.J. McCarthy. 74% completion percentage, 2,600 yards, 19 passing touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. He's not this super out-of-pocket playmaker. He's not going to be that. He has ran for 146 yards this year. That's not a ton. 3 touchdowns. I don't think J.J. McCarthy is the quarterback that can beat you. I definitely don't think that. Now, Alabama did a great job last night against the run, against a really, really good running team. Georgia has 2 great running backs. I mean, Kendall Milton has been great all year. Blake Corum has been even better. 218 attempts for he's a 1,000-yard rusher, 24 touchdowns this year, and he can help them in the passing game a little bit. Now, Donovan Edwards, their running back 2, is going to be more of the pass catching running back, but he's really good as well. That being Donovan Edwards. Let's see. Let's get wide receivers here. Cornelius Johnson for Michigan. He's been really good. Roman Wilson. He's leading the team in yards. He's just got 1 less catch than Johnson, and he's got over 100 more yards than him. 11 touchdowns for Roman Wilson. That is going to be the guy that Alabama is going to have to stop. And we still don't really know about Kool-Aid McKinstry. He went out last night with an injury after colliding with Dallas Turner. So I would like to think he would be back. This game's not going to be for another month. So I would like to think Kool-Aid would be back for that game and be healthy. But Trey Amos came in and played amazing. So if Trey Amos is the guy, that has to be in there for Kool-Aid, if for some reason it's a worse injury than we think, I think we'll be fine. I think Alabama can absolutely win this game. I think it's going to be a rematch between Alabama and Texas in the national championship game, which, man, you want to talk about, they say that they don't take matchups and what kind of TV ratings can we get. If that is the national championship game this year, it might be one of the most watched national championship games in a long time. I think that's an amazing matchup. Now, we got to beat Michigan. Texas would have to beat Washington. I think both those teams are the favorites. I'll be excited to see the betting odds when they come out. They might be out already. Give me 1 second, and I'll see if these betting odds have come out yet from BetUS. That's what we use for our betting odds here. Let's see, Alabama versus, doesn't look like they have it quite yet. They do have the national championship odds. Let's see what those look like. Alabama right now, plus 200. They are not the favorite. Michigan is the favorite at plus 160. I think that's Texas is at plus 275. I think, man, somebody's trying to lose money because, in my opinion, Michigan went undefeated. They won the Big Ten, the second best conference in the country. But I think Texas and Alabama are both better teams than Michigan. So you do with that information what you will. But at the end of the day, it's Alabama versus Michigan, Texas versus Washington in the college football playoffs. I could not be more excited. I said it before, I'll say it again. I did not think the committee had it in them, but I'm excited that, they grew some cojones and did what was right. So Roll Tide in the comments section. Make sure you guys subscribe right here at Roll Tide TV. This is the Alabama Football Report. I am producer Chris. Roll Tide, everybody. We'll see you in the college football playoffs.